our daily show on RiverBender.com. And now, time to play a game.
Oh, we gonna rock down to Electric Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
What? Yeah, 1050.
Working so hard,
You know,
like a soldier.
if half these homes had solar, there wouldn't be a haunted movie, you know? All right. Oh, man, how you doing? Hey,
Doing well.
Don't worry about blowing me off a couple weeks ago. You know, it's all good.
You say as you mention it live on the air.
I'm just how's everything? You guys have had a good run of things lately.
We're staying busy.
Yeah,
that's
man.
for sure.
Well, before we even go into, like, you know, the year it is right now and the process you're in, we were just talking about electric, and I'm kind of just stuck on this kind of topic right now.
Keep it going.
So you have decided to make the switch to an EV.
Correct.
And you've done quite a bit of research.
Correct. I have a wife that's skeptical.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good to know. So your wife's kind of skeptical of it.
Sure.
But tell me what led to the decision that this was actually a good purchase, because you are somebody that really does research almost to a fault.
Right.
You know, and
absolutely.
this is really fascinating.
I'm an overthinker.
Yeah.
Right. So same way when it came to solar, when I told my wife, you know, hey, we're going to get solar, and she was skeptical then. And again, her skepticism is out of just ignorance, and not in a mean ignorance way. I just don't know. Like,
Right.
I have questions, and I don't know the answers to the questions or even where to start to find them. So she knew a solar guy, so I was able to answer all those questions for her. And, you know, it became a no-brainer. Like, once she understood all of the questions and they've been answered for her, it was a no-brainer. So same sort of thing here. She's driven, you know, ICE or internal combustion engine vehicles her entire life, right? So cutting that cord and doing something vastly different is nerve-wracking. So now that she's done the research, she's can't wait. Like, she just really, really wants to get the EV.
Well, and honestly, there's some really cool stuff with these now. Like, you were just telling me, you plug it into your house,
Right.
you get your car charged,
Right.
but then in return, it could actually power your home.
Correct. Yeah. So
What?
one of the EVs that we're looking for is a little more forward thinking than a lot of them today. So we all know that net metering has gotten trashed and everything like that, and batteries are now required for solar to be the most cost efficient use of your money, right? And so, you know, the EV companies are kind of seeing that and are like, hey, we're driving around a huge battery, right? And so, you know, a lot of the EV companies are basically making the battery in your EV a two-way battery to where it can power the car, but if you have a little extra and you need some energy for your house, it can power your house too.
See, and this is what I think so fascinating about this with the EV too, because you would think, you know, there's a company that makes in-house vacuum. And I've always wondered how much damage you're going to have to do to really get that ductwork right and all of that to set up the vacuum, because there's a lot of inside jobs you're going to have to do.
Right.
But with the EV, and my dad has a Kia hybrid, which, you know, it's mostly electric because he never has to switch to gas, because by the time he makes it home, he just plugs it back in again. You know, it's like 70 miles a gallon at that point.
Right.
But it's easy. I mean, there's no... I mean, honestly, configuration is really the least of your concern when it comes to this.
Absolutely. I mean, and again, like, the infrastructure is in your house.
Yeah.
To move electrons from one point to another, that infrastructure exists in your house already. Like, that's what electricity is moving electrons from point A to point B, right? So that all exists. And that was actually a point that I made when it came to one of her concerns, which was, hey, if we go on a long trip...
Right.
Charging stations. And she's like, you can't pass an exit without seeing 7 gas stations, but they are now EV stations there either. So I said, all right, let's do the math. I said, from here to Kansas City, let's plan a trip and see how many EV stations are available to us between here and Kansas City. Mm-hmm. And it was like 48. It was like no farther than 15, 20 miles was the absolute farthest. And between here and Kansas City, 15 to 20 miles is the farthest you are from an EV charging station.
Now, how do you charge them? Is there a proper way? Because to me, it would be like a cell phone. They always tell you never start plugging it in when you just buy it at 20%. Wait till it dies and you plug it in and all that. Is it the same with
Who tells you that? Don't do that.
Really?
That ruins your batteries.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was the AT&T guy told me I had to wait for it to die, then charge it all the way up.
That's probably because he sells batteries.
Oh.
And he wants it to die so he can sell you a battery.
So you don't do that with charge? Okay, now I'm learning a lot here.
Yeah, so an EV battery, almost all lithium-ion batteries their sweet spot is 20% to 80% charge, right? They can live all day 20 to 80%, right? As a matter of fact, most of the EV batteries nowadays are actually advertising how long it takes you to get to an 80% charge, because like the EV battery I was telling you about, it takes 18 minutes to get to 80% charge.
Are you serious?
18 minutes.
That was kind of my follow-up question to this, is the wait time.
Yeah, 18 minutes to get to 80% charge. At 80% charge, you've got about 220 miles
Wow.
that you can go. So, and that's 18 minutes for 220 miles, essentially.
See, now what's that equate to? Because the argument always becomes, and like I said, I drive a Jeep that's, a gas-powered car and all that, but some of the argument has always been, well, what's it compared to in gas breakdown? So how far are you driving per mile a gallon compared to how far are you going on that, X amount of electricity and that price dial? Have you figured that out yet or calculated?
Oh, yeah, I'm a numbers guy and clearly a solar nerd. So, so yeah, we break all of that down. I broke it down for her too, and if nothing else, because I'm curious too, right?
Well, and see, the thing is, you should never go into a decision trying to prove yourself right.
Right?
You need to learn all of these things. And if it goes against what you initially thought, well, that doesn't mean your decision's wrong, or it could be the wrong decision. It means there's something more to think about.
Right. The data doesn't lie.
Yeah.
Right. So let's take a 35 mile per gallon car, and we use that 280 mile range, right? A 35 mile per gallon car, which we can both agree is
Pretty darn good.
Pretty good mileage, right? So 35 miles per gallon car, to go 280 miles would cost you $26 in gasoline, and that's at $3.25 a gallon. So I tried to be very reasonable on the price of gasoline right now, right? So that would cost you $26.
You were being very generous on it, honestly. Yeah.
I was. I used 13 cents a kilowatt hour to charge our EV.
Gotcha.
Which is about 7 cents less per kilowatt hour than you actually pay here. But in Missouri, it's the right price. So per kilowatt hour price does affect this, but essentially it costs $11 in gasoline. Or I'm sorry, $11 in electricity to go the same 280 miles.
Wow.
So you have $11 in electricity, go 280 miles, or $26 in gas, right?
That's incredible.
And you can see that, I mean, obviously EV is beating this fuel-efficient car. It's beating it by over double.
Do you have to still get oil changes in EVs?
Absolutely not.
See, that's what I was making sure. Yeah, that's what I was making sure.
Transmission fluids. There are some EVs that have transmissions. Most of them are direct drive, though.
Okay.
So you don't have transmissions. Even the ones with transmissions have super simple gearboxes, not these super crazy complicated automatic transmissions that are in ICE, ICE vehicles, right?
This is cool, man. I had no idea about any of this.
Yeah, no oil changes. People say, well, what are we going to do with all these EV batteries when they die?
Right.
95% of an EV car, the entire car, 95% of it is recyclable, and that includes the battery.
Really?
Okay. And so when people ask me that question, I always kind of snarky, but I throw this back at them. I say, how much of the gasoline in your car can you recycle when you're done with it?
Well, that's true.
You can't recycle any of that.
Right.
It comes out, that cash comes out your tailpipe and into the air, right?
Yeah,
so there's
that's a good point.
There's no recycling of it, right?
I always wonder that with lithium, though, and how the battery and all that played in. That's interesting.
And like battery recycling programs, think about it this way. You ever gone to AutoZone and bought a new battery for your car?
No, I'm a bad example.
Okay, so when you go to AutoZone to buy a new battery for your car or your ATV or anything that takes a battery, right? And you buy a normal lead-acid battery, what do they charge you? They charge you what they call a core charge, right? And so I'll sell you this battery for $150 plus 30, and if you bring me your old battery back, I'll give you your $30 back.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
it's a deposit basically on make sure we recycle. So we're already doing this and have been doing this for literally decades with forcing people to recycle their batteries so that we don't lose them to the landfill and stuff like that. So with much bigger, much more expensive lithium-ion batteries, that's really all you got to do is just make sure they're being recycled.
Very fascinating. Well, honestly, now that we've talked all about EVs, let's talk about your business. How's life treating you?
super busy, and like that's the other thing is like this math that we did on the EV is based on you going to the power company
to
buy your electricity from them, we haven't even talked about how much more you can save, how much that $11 in electricity could go to $0 if you own the power that you're putting into the EV.
I get what you're saying
You see
here.
what I'm saying? I own solar. My car is powered by the sun. Like, I have a gas station built on top of my house.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the solar power system, right? So, like, now with my solar power system, I can run my entire house and have a $0 power bill. I can also run my EV and have a $0 per month gas bill. No more oil changes. No more, that type of regular maintenance on the car. Like my house becomes a hub that can now power more of my life.
Well, and what does that mean too? I mean, with how you go ahead with your solar system, 10 years from now, if cars are getting to a point where this two-way battery is, it seems like someone's getting ready to hit a stride on something here.
Right. And so that's a perfect example. And so number one, our message to anybody who's thinking about getting an EV, already has solar. Number one, Ameren will let you put additional solar on your roof as long as you don't double the size of your system.
Okay.
And they'll let you keep your old net metering rule.
That's huge. I didn't realize.
Very huge.
I didn't realize that.
So you're 5 years into a 30-year net metering agreement. You got the good net metering, right?
Right.
And you're like, well, I'm getting an EV, and we got an EV, and now our power bill went from $0 to now it's $40 a month or $60, whatever, right? The EV bill is showing up on your power bill now. Call us up. We can add enough solar to take care of whatever part of that power bill. You don't have to have the battery.
Right.
You get to keep the net metering.
Wow, that's really cool.
So that's going to be...
It's very innovative. I mean, it's getting there.
It is, right.
Wow.
The other thing that we're talking about is, right now we're talking about net metering the new net metering rule causing people to need to get batteries so that they can use their money most cost effectively for solar. The future of that is these EV cars, right?
Right. That's kind of where my thought is too. This is really fascinating.
Right. And so like I go home, and my car has 60% juice left. And we crank the AC up a little bit. The solar's starting to wane because the sun's going down. Well, now I can run my house a little bit longer because my car is charging it, right?
Right.
And then Ameren has programs. I know Ameren, Missouri has a program. I'm not 100% on Ameren, Illinois' version of this program. But basically, when you charge your car, they already know that's going to be really important, right? If everybody goes and plugs in an 8-kilowatt charger at 6 o'clock every evening, that's going to be bad.
Right.
Right.
That's where you get the duck curve.
Right. It's a huge curve, right? A huge demand curve, a gigantic peak, right? Because now Ameren's trying to charge all these cars, right? So Ameren's actually charging discounts, giving discounts to people to where if you will let them choose when to charge your car, that is best for them and the grid, which keeps everybody's prices down. If you let them choose when to charge your car, A, they promise you'll still wake up with a full battery, and B, they'll give you 2 cents a kilowatt hour or some discount off of all the rest of the electricity you buy from them.
That's cool.
Just because you let them do it.
Well,
and they have other programs in the future too. It's called peak shaving, right? Where you can go even further and you can say, I'll tell you what, I'll let you use some of the energy in my battery to prevent you from turning on this natural gas. They call them peaker plants.
Yeah.
Right? So if we don't have to turn this on, we could save a bunch of money, but I need 25 extra kilowatts to be able to not turn this plant on. Ooh, I can borrow some from this battery and that battery and this battery and this battery. Now I got my 25 kilowatts from free energy sources. Okay, I got myself past the peak. Now I have extra energy. And what am I going to do with the extra energy? We're going to put it back in those batteries.
Right, that's
They'll
right.
never know they missed it. They'll never know it was gone, right? And you end up using one cycle on your battery to save yourself $28 a month.
Well, and see, you have to think of it this way. If you don't, you aren't going to understand solar because it's not this cut and dry thing that it was in 2008 when everyone was first talking about solar the first time. I mean, there are so many nuances, and now with how competitive that market has gotten, I mean, billionaire competitive market, you're going to see these innovations happen quicker and quicker, and you have to think about all of those things and what it means. And if you don't, and you get some, I hate to say it, some clown knocking on your door that doesn't know, you can get into a lot of trouble if you aren't doing it the right way. I know your blood just boiled there, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's so much to think about now when it comes to this decision, And that's why I just think it's really good we have these conversations because, yeah, we're talking about EVs for 30 minutes, but you're probably talking about EVs with half your clients for 30 minutes every time you're going and doing a consult.
And I don't sell EVs.
Yeah, I mean, because that's just
yeah.
what's just about the it's all about what your home solar system could really do for you.
Yeah, and I mean, again, you want somebody who has thought of this in a holistic, like every part of this aspect of this, right?
Yeah.
How well does it work with the energy system I have at my house? Like,
right.
I have a really old, crappy breaker, and does it work or not? I don't know. Have a silver. We'll let you know. You know what I'm saying? Like that could be an extra cost of upgrading your main panel, but it might not be, and you're avoiding. Knowing that this isn't a problem at all for us, Well,
and Ryan, that's why I just love having you on, and 20 minutes flies by every damn time. It's 10:30, but I wanted to call to action that coming up with Jason, not next week, but the following week, because my calendar's all messed up. Actually, it was my fault because I thought you guys were coming on last week.
Oh, okay.
So I was actually off on my days anyway. That was kind of the funny part of it.
We'll blame you.
Yeah, just go ahead. We're going to go look through my power bill, and we're going to see, break it down, go through the process with me, and that way if you see it happen in real time, maybe it's a little bit easier of a conversation to have because you know what some of the questions are going to be and maybe how to prepare for that too.
Well, and I'll tell you what, this is perfect because we're setting up a kiosk in St. Clair Square throughout the entire Christmas.
Really?
Yep.
Man,
through
good
February.
for you.
So we're going to have a mostly manned kiosk. And if people bring their power bills to us, whatever you see us do with CJ's power bill live on air, you can bring it straight up to St. Clair Square.
And dude, that's brilliant.
Have the exact same thing.
That is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Congratulations. How'd you get that one figured out?
We're looking for that home and garden show mentality, that vibe. And so we were like, a kiosk in St. Clair Square has got the foot traffic.
That's really cool.
Have people, we're going to meet you where you're at. Come out and meet us. We won't be at your house. You know what I'm saying? If you want to keep us at arm's length, we'll be at St. Clair Square. Keep us at arm's length.
10:31. Man, keep up the great work. We'll take a quick break.
Thanks,
and we'll
CJ.
come back with the South Roxana Dads Club after this one.